With so many new players trying out Monster Hunter Rise for their very first time, it is inevitable that some will make a lot of mistakes given how overwhelming the game can be. As such, I have compiled what I believe to be the biggest mistakes players can make in Monster Hunter Rise, so you don't have to go through them. And although this is mostly aimed at newer players, there's bound to be some things that even veteran players may not know about. So if that's the case, then please subscribe, as only 1% of the people that watch me are actually subscribed to the channel. With that being said, let's move on to mistake number 1. The first mistake I see a lot of players doing in Monster Hunter Rise is not using the endemic life or the environment to their advantage. In Monster Hunter Rise, endemic life are creatures found in the environment that can be captured and used to provide various beneficial effects, or to be used as tools to make hunts easier. For example, the elemental beetles can apply their correspondent elemental blight. Fire wasps can heal you, and puppet spiders can be used to restrain monsters and guarantee a wyvern ride. The environment can also be a powerful tool in battle. Use the terrain to your advantage by positioning yourself strategically or using it to trap a monster. Some areas such as this one have environmental hazards like lava or pillars that you can use to damage monsters and can also open up opportunities for mounting. The second big mistake that I see hunters do all the time, even veteran hunters, is overusing the WIREBUG, specifically Wirefall. Wirebugs allow players to traverse the environment and attack in new ways through siltbind moves. While it can be a powerful tool, overusing or relying too heavily on it can lead to negative consequences. Not only can it cause players to become too reliant on it, which is just a bad habit, which can make them more vulnerable when it is not available. For example, when the WIREBUG is on cooldown, players may not be able to quickly evade an attack or reach a safe spot. Alternatively, using Wirefall right after getting hit can lead to you getting hit with a second attack, or even the same one that got you in the first place. And while that may not outright card you, you will have wasted a WIREBUG which would be better used to deal damage to the monster once you got back up. It's important to use the Wirefall strategically and to not rely on it too heavily. As for the third mistake, in Monster Hunter Rise, eating at the canteen before going on a quest is important because it provides players with food buffs that can enhance their abilities and make the hunt easier, and a lot of hunters forget to do that. The canteen is a place where players can prepare meals using different ingredients they have gathered or purchased. Each meal provides a set of different food buffs, which are temporary bonuses that last for the duration of the hunt, or until you are carted. It's important to note that these food buffs can be stacked, which allows players to gain a lot of good bonuses at the same time. Some example of food buffs that can be gained by eating at the canteen before a quest include increased stamina, health, defense, elemental resistances, the ability to not card in a single hit once you reach low health, as well as buffs that increase the player's chances of obtaining rare materials from gathering or even carving a monster. It's recommended to try different meals and experiment with different combinations of food to find the best setup for your playstyle and the hunt you are about to undertake. The fifth mistake is one that players don't do a lot, but it is still very important. It's not paying any attention to the hunter's notes. These are a feature that allows players to keep track of information about the game's various monsters, items, and locations. They provide a wealth of information that can be used for players and can be essential for players who want to master the game. The Hunter Notes provide detailed information about the weaknesses of each monster, including the type of damage that they're weak to and the specific body parts that are the most vulnerable. Not only that, but it also provides information about the materials that can be obtained from each monster and the items that can be crafted from them. So this is very important because you want to know what kind of elemental weapons you want to bring with you on the quest, and also if you're looking for a specific material, the Hunter Notes will tell you if you have to cut the tail or if you have to capture the monster to get an increased chance of getting that specific material to drop. Overall, the Hunter Notes can be a very useful tool for players in Monster Hunter Rise, and can be especially helpful for players who are new to the series or want to master the game. The sixth mistake I see a lot of players, especially beginners, do is missing out on some very important optional quests. Now, completing the urgent quests is the way to progress through the hunter ranks and to unlock new content in the game. That being said, there are many things that are locked behind optional quests. These optional quests provide a variety of rewards, ranging from extra hunter rank experience, additional Kimura points, new food for the canteen, to even new equipment such as armor sets and entire weapons. And you can even unlock some new switch skills by completing optional quests that are provided to you by Master Utsushi. So be sure to visit every single NPC in the game, check if they have this yellow bubble above their head, which means that they will have an optional quest available for you. The reward is usually stated right there in the quest description, so it's something that you don't want to deal with right now, you can always come back to it at a later point. I also very much recommend doing the requests as well as the optional subquests, which are things that are just going to unlock additional content in the game, and in the case of optional subquests, it's a good way to get additional Zenny and Kimura points, and even some rare materials, by just doing things that you are already doing in your quests. So don't forget to check your optional subquests before you go on a quest. Before we continue with the video, I want to say thank you to all the hunters, both new and veterans, that watch my videos and like my content. I have now started a Patreon where I will upload some content there, so if you would like to support me, the link is in the description. Thank you, and let's continue with the video. The seventh mistake I see a lot of players do, especially whenever it is a group of random players hunting together, is not properly waking up monsters in a hunt. If the monster you're hunting ever goes to sleep, learn to make the most out of it. It's probably been put to sleep by a sleepy toad, or more likely than not, from one of your Palico's or Palamute's weapons. The first hit to a sleeping monster will deal extra damage, so take the time to set some large barrel bombs, and in case you are in a multiplayer hunt, let the Greatsword Hunter or whoever has the strongest damaging move land the wake up on the monster for some massive damage. You can also take this time to heal, sharpen your weapon, as well as place a few traps close to the monster so that when it wakes up, you guys can hit the monster as much as possible until the quest is complete. Now, the next mistake a lot of players make is they don't forget to check Kagero the shopkeeper or the trader Rondine as well. Kagero often has sales where you're able to buy essential items such as potions, bombs, and traps for a much lower price than original. You can also take this opportunity to craft some talismans, so hopefully you get a good charm out of it. As for Rondine, she often has a lot of very good items that you cannot buy available for sale, but the problem is these items do tend to rotate every now and again, so you have to check up on her and see what items she has for sale. Additionally, you can send some of your Palicos on expeditions to bring some items for you, so that is another reason for you to check up on Rondine to see if you get some cool stuff from your Palicos, and so that their inventory isn't all the way filled up, and you send them back on expeditions to gather more items for you. At the start of the game, you'll only be able to use one of your Palicos to do this. You will have to complete some requests and optional quests in order to send more than one Palico on your submarine, so be sure to do that. And while we're here in this area, you can also visit the top of this tree, which will give you some additional items. And in case you didn't know, if you come to this spot right here, you can take the boat, and as you can see, taking this boat will lead us to... As you can see, it leads us right to the training area. The ninth mistake I see a lot of players doing is focusing too much on some offensive skills, such as attack boost. Now, attack boost may seem very appealing, but it actually is far from the best skill in the game. Even in terms of offensive skills, as you can see right here, I have an amazing endgame build, and it only has attack boost level 4. But don't just focus on offensive skills, especially at the start. Take some defensive skills or some quality of life skills, things that will make the game more enjoyable for you, and not just make you hunt a monster a minute or two faster. Once you get to the endgame of Monster Hunter Rise, that's when you'll need to start figuring things out and trying to craft the perfect mixed set. Once you get there, you'll have to worry about that. And the final mistake, and I know that some of you guys are not going to like hearing this, that I see a lot of players do, is investing too much gear in low rank. In Monster Hunter Rise, once you beat the village quests, or if you go directly to the gathering hub, you can get very quickly to high rank, where essentially all of your low rank armor sets are going to be useless. The weakest armor sets in high rank are just about as good as the very best in low rank. So really, don't pay too much attention to your armor sets in low rank because you're going to get much better ones in high rank. As for weapons, you will still be able to use the ones you had in low rank and upgrade them to their high rank versions. But at the same time, Monster Hunter Rise has the Sunbreak expansion, which has already been released on Switch and on Steam, and will be coming to PS5 and Xbox very soon. And once it does release, you guys will have access to Master Rank gear, which is again much better than any of the high rank gear that is available in the game. So don't focus too much on collecting all of the different armor sets, don't burn yourself out with the game, because come Sunbreak you're going to want to play the game again and you'll want to enjoy yourself. So take your time and just have fun with the game. And well, these are 10 of the biggest mistakes that I see players do in Monster Hunter Rise. Let me know if there's any other mistake I should have mentioned in the video, and in case you guys are wondering which weapon you should play in Monster Hunter Rise, here's a couple of videos that are going to help you with that. My name is Dark Hero, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, happy hunting!